Hey guys, welcome back to another 2004scape video. This video is going to be an interesting one. Hopefully it is helpful to many of you out there, but this is going to basically be a sort of a guide on the best order to do the members quests when they come out. I sort of want to do all of the quests before I start doing any real grinds in the game on members, so I thought I'd put together sort of a good order to do every single quest in, and sort of save as much time as possible, save you running around the map too much, or needing to train skills to get certain levels before being able to do other quests. This is sort of going to put you in a good position to be able to do every member's quest, and I've tried to sort of group them in sort of groups of where they are located geographically, so you, like I said, you're not running all over the place, and also in a good order for XP rewards to get you closer to the skill requirements needed for future quests. So a couple of disclaimers just to make. This guide kind of assumes that you have all of the skill requirements for all the members quests before you start. So if you don't have those skill requirements, you might struggle to follow this guide. You can probably still follow bits of it, but you might just need to go and train some levels here and there if you don't have those skill requirements. The other disclaimer that I wanted to make was that this guide also assumes that you are able to just get hold of all of the item requirements for all the quests. I'm going to put like a list of all of the items you'll need to do all of these quests in the description below. But obviously it's going to be a pain to try and bank these before members comes out because of the bank space. So you might find yourself coming up to a quest where you don't have all the items for it and you might need to go and purchase them. This guide just assumes that you're going to go and do that. I'm not going to try and sort of include the best places to go and pick up item spawns or anything like that. So this won't really take into account if you have the items or if you don't. This is just the order that I will be trying to do the quests in. Another thing I just want to make clear is that some of the quests in this guide that I'm making are kind of split up in different sections. So for example, you might start a quest, but then you might not sort of continue doing that quest or hand it in until further in the guide, just because of where you'll need to go for that quest. So if you are sort of planning to do that, but not do the quest all in one sitting, you might just want to make a note of where you are in each quest, just because if you start that quest and then you take a break and you come back to it another day, obviously there's no like in-game quest guide, so you might forget where you were and you'll struggle to pick the quest back up again. So if you do need to take a break at any moment, just sort of make a note of where you are if you're halfway through one of these quests. And finally, I also just wanted to say that this is probably not going to be the most efficient, the best quest order possible. This is sort of just what I'm planning to do for my goals, and I thought I'd put it out there. So if you guys sort of don't have a plan for doing any quests in a certain order, maybe you can follow along with this and it might help you out. But I'm sure there's other ways of doing this. I know a lot of people are going to be rushing certain quests that I've put a little bit later into the guide. So yeah, just sort of have a check through before you start it, because you might want to do something else first and you might want to rearrange a few things. That's totally fine. I know a couple of other creators I think are planning on making similar videos to this, so it will be very interesting to compare them and see what we can all come up with. But with all that said, guys, let's get into this quest order guide. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is doing the fight arena quest. The first set of quests that I'm going to do are all going to be based in Ardy. So that's going to be a case of probably teleporting to Camelot and then running down to Ardy, and we're going to be doing all these quests because they're in a similar area. So we're going to go and do the fight arena quest, which you can start just south of the Ardy Monastery. And that will give you 12,175 attack XP and 2,175 thieving XP. And the only requirements that you'll need for this are some runes to be able to cast spells on the monsters that you need to fight in the fight arena quest. So make sure you bring your combat runes. After you've done that quest, we're going to be moving on to the Haziel Cult quest. This is also going to be started around the Ardy area. It will give you 1,500 thieving XP, and you don't really need any item requirements for that. After you've done that, we're going to be doing the Plague City quest, again, starting in Ardy. This is going to be a really nice one because it unlocks the Ardy teleport, so we can get back here easier in the future if we need to. And this one does have quite a few item requirements. You're going to need some Dwellberries, you're going to need 4 buckets of water, a spade, you need the portrait, which you can pick up in the quest, you need a rope, you need some milk, and you need a chocolate bar, as well as a pestle and mortar and some Snape Grass. So quite a few items you're going to need for that one. Maybe you want to get those banked before you start coming into Ardy, but that's going to be nice to get the teleport unlocked. Straight after that, though, we're going to go into Biohazard. which is also in RD. And for this, you're going to need to pick up the bird feed and the pigeon cages. You're going to need to get the doctor's gown and a rotten apple, but I believe you can get all this sort of in the area when you're doing the quest. After we've done Biohazard for that thieving XP, we are going to actually take a little break from questing to train thieving a tiny bit, but this is fine because we can do it all in RD. So we're going to go to the silk stool and we're going to get our thieving up to level 21. This shouldn't take very long at all, and it's all contained in the same area, so go and steal silk until you're level 21 thieving. After that, we're going to go and get the ship from RD over to Brimhaven, and we're going to do the Tribal Totem quest. This quest is going to give us 1,775 thieving XP, and you can probably see a theme here. We're training thieving up, and you'll see why in just a moment. After the Tribal Totem quest, again, we're going to have to come back to RD and just do a little bit more thieving. We're going to have to do the Silk Stool until level 35, and then the Fur Stool until level 42. Now, this is like not going to be the quickest thing in the world, but I think it's worth it for the way that I want to do these quests, because after you've got 42 thieving, you will then be able to do the Temple of Ikov quest, which is in the same area. This is going to be pretty big. It's going to get you the Boots of Lightness, which are going to help you running around the map doing these quests. It's also going to get you 10,500 ranged XP, as well as 8,000 fletching XP. So some big levels coming in there from that XP. And for the Temple of Ikov quest, there's going to be a few things you need. You're going to need to get a candle, a tinderbox, a knife, or some sort of sharp weapon. The quest guides do say a yew or a magic bow to fire the ice arrows, but I've recently found out that you don't actually need to do that. All you need to do is have some sort of ranged weapon, and then you can just equip the ice arrows. So, for example, if you bring some like steel knives and just equip a single ice arrow, you should be able to kill the thing that's in the underground caverns without actually needing the yew or the magic bow. But you will need 20 Limpwurt Roots for that quest, so you can get that banked before members comes out. That's what I've been doing. After doing the Temple of Ikov quest, though, we will be moving on to do the Clock Tower quest, just because it's in the same area and it's very quick and easy to do. The same can be said of the Monk's Friend quest, which we'll do after that. That will give us 2,000 woodcutting XP, and all you need for that one is a jug of water and some logs. After doing Monk's Friend, we will be making our way up to the Dwarf Cannon quest. It's a little bit of a walk, but it's not too far, and you can basically do the entire quest until you need to hand it in Falador. So do it up to that point, and then sort of pause, and we'll finish that off later. After doing all of this sort of finishes up most of the quests that we'll be doing in RD. So after that, we're going to teleport to Camelot, or you could just walk if you don't have the teleport unlocked. And we're going to go and do the Murder Mystery quest in Seer's Village. That's going to give us 1,406 crafting XP, and all you need for that quest is an empty pot. After doing that, we're still sort of staying in the Seer's Village Camelot area. We're going to be doing the Merlin's Crystal quest, and for that you're going to need a piece of bread, a tinderbox, a bucket of wax, which you can get by picking up the insect repellent, using it on the beehive, and then using a bucket on them. And you're also going to need some bat bones, which can be acquired during the quest, because there are some bats just outside of the tower south of Seer's Village. After that, we are going to stay in Camelot just for a little bit longer, because we are going to start the Holy Grail quest. We're not going to be doing the whole quest right now, but you're definitely going to want to start that quest and do all the bits that you can in Camelot. We will come back to that. After you've started Holy Grail, you're going to want to teleport to Varrock, and we are going to start Gertrude's Cat. For this one, you're going to need a bucket of milk, 100 coins, a raw sardine, and you can pick up the doogle leaves behind Gertrude's house and hand in the Gertrude's Cat quest for 1,525 cooking XP. And you can then also go over to the Dwarven Mines and you can hand in the Dwarf Cannon quest. From here, we are going to probably walk south or teleport to Lumbridge, and we are going to do the Tourist Trap quest. Now, this quest has the option to spend the XP rewards on a couple of different skills, but for the purposes of this guide, and I think most people are going to do this as well, we're going to be using the XP on agility. If you want to use it on something else, that's fine, but you will get to a point in this guide where you won't have the agility level to do other things, and you might just have to go and train it manually. But for the Tourist Trap quest, you're going to need desert clothing, a hammer, 1 bronze bar, 10 feathers, and you're going to want some food and combat gear to fight the guy outside of the mine. After doing Tourist Trap, this is going to be really nice because we're going to have some agility levels, which should make running around the game a bit easier. Like I said, I think some people are going to rush Tourist Trap for the agility, but in this guide, that is when we're going to be doing it. But after doing that, we are going to move on and we're going to do Lost City in Lumbridge. Now, when we're doing Lost City, there's a couple of things to note here. You're going to want to bank your combat gear and grab some cheese from Draenor while you're in the area. And I would also say when you're going to Entrana to do Lost City, you're going to want to talk to the High Priest, because that is going to be the next part for the Holy Grail quest that we started earlier. So do Lost City, but make sure that when you're banking your combat gear to go to Entrana, grab some cheese from Draenor and talk to the High Priest on Entrana for Holy Grail. For Lost City, you will need a knife, an axe, and some sort of runes for combat and some food for the tree spirit. After doing Lost City, and hopefully grabbing yourself a dragon longsword if they're not completely bought out by everyone, you're going to want to teleport to Falador. And from here, we're going to sort of start moving west again into Tavali. We are going to go and do the Druidic Ritual quest, which will get us to level 3 herb lore. And for that, you're going to need a raw bear meat, raw rat meat, raw chicken, and some raw beef. After that, we can stay in Tavali for a little bit longer and do the Witch's House quest. This will give you 6,325 hit points XP. And for this, you will need that cheese that we picked up earlier from Draenor Village. And you will also need some leather gloves. And then after that, we will start the fishing contest quest by speaking to the dwarf on the Tavali side of the underground shortcut. Now for this, you will need a spade, 10 coins, a piece of garlic, a fishing rod, and you'll need to get some of the red vine worms from Magruber's Wood in Sears Village. But this quest will give us 2,437 fishing XP, and it will also unlock that shortcut under White Wolf Mountain. So if you can't teleport to Camelot or anything like that, you'll be able to go under White Wolf Mountain instead of running over every time and having to get hit by wolves. And then after that, we are going to go and speak to Galahad in Sears Village to continue that part of Holy Grail. I believe this is where you get the napkin. We're going to move south. We're going to go down to Ardy. We're going to do the Sea Slug quest. For that, you will need a swamp paste, and that will give you 7,175 fishing XP. After that, we're staying in Ardy a bit longer. We're going to do the Sheep Herder quest, which you will need 100 coins for. And then we are going to start the Waterfall quest. It's a little bit north of Ardy, but it's not too far away. For this quest, you're going to need 6 air, 6 water, 6 earth runes, and a rope. After starting Waterfall quest, though, we are going to need to go to Tree Gnome Village for the quest anyway. So we are going to go and do the entirety of the Tree Gnome Village quest. And while we're there, we're going to continue the Waterfall part. That quest, Tree Gnome Village, will give us 11,450 attack XP, and you will need 6 logs or an axe just to cut them while you're out there, as well as some food and some combat gear. After doing that, we are going to go and walk over to the Observatory quest. It's not too far away from Tree Gnome Village, so we'll go and do that. For that quest, you will need 3 wooden planks, a bronze bar, some molten glass, and a lens mold. I believe you can get the lens mold during the quest as well. After doing Observatory quest, we'll make our way back up and finish the Waterfall quest, gaining ourselves 13,750 attack and strength XP, which is going to be very nice. And after that, we're going to head over to the Tree Gnome Stronghold, and we are going to do the Grand Tree quest. For that, you are going to need probably some combat runes and some food. I believe there is a safe spot for the Black Demon. But that quest will give us 18,400 attack XP, 7,900 agility XP, and 2,150 magic XP. And if you did not spend your agility XP from Tourist Trap earlier on agility, this is where you will need to train agility manually instead. After finishing up the Grand Tree, we're going to take a boat to Brimhaven from Ardy, or you could teleport to Lumbridge and then get the boat from Port Sarim. But after getting to Brimhaven, we're going to be doing the Jungle Potion quest. That will get us 775 Herblore XP. Then we're going to be doing the Shiloh Village quest for 3,875 crafting XP. And for Shiloh Village, you will need to have a spade, a torch or a candle, a rope, some bronze wire, a chisel, and 3 bones. After doing the Shiloh Village quest, staying in Brimhaven for a little bit longer, we will now be able to do the next part of the Holy Grail quest, going to the Fisher Realm to fight the Black Knight, and you can do that just at the Gold Rocks on Brimhaven. After doing that, we will teleport back out, go to Camelot, and we will finish up Holy Grail. You'll need to talk to King Arthur, then go to the Goblin Village, and then come back to King Arthur. But that is going to give you 11,000 prayer XP and 15,300 defense XP. So huge quest to get that one turned in. After doing this, there's not too much sort of tied to certain areas at this point, so we're just going to go ahead and try and get hold of 9 Guams and make ourselves 9 attack potions. That'll get us up to level 10 herb lore, which is the requirement to do the dig site quest. That's the next one you're going to want to do. Dig site quest, you will need a cup of tea, an opal, a rope, a specimen brush and jar, which I believe you can get during the quest, a pestle and mortar, a vial, and a tinderbox, and that will give you 15,300 mining XP and 2,000 herb lore XP. But after doing that, you'll be going on to do the watchtower quest over in Yanil. Hopefully you will have got the magic level to be able to use the RD teleport by then, and you can just teleport there and run south. That will get you 15,250 magic XP, and you will need 20 coins, a gold bar, a tinderbox, a death rune, a pickaxe, some dragon bones, which might be difficult to get hold of, 2 ropes, Guam, and a vial of water, and a light source. After doing Watchtower, we are going to head even further south and do the Big Chompy bird hunting quest. For this one, you will need a hatchet, a knife, a chisel, around 60 feathers, and some wolf bones, and that will give you 262 fletching XP, 1,470 cooking XP, as well as 735 ranged XP. And that is going to be sort of the guide. The keen-eyed amongst you might realise that I've actually left out 4 quests from this, and I'll just go through those quests now and why I've chosen to leave them out. So the first one that I've missed out is the Scorpion Catcher quest. I've left this out for the main reason being that to do the Scorpion Catcher quest, you need to do Alfred's bar crawl, the little sort of mini quest, and this might be difficult for some players to do. Some of the drinks that you have to drink will do a lot of damage to you, and I sort of didn't want to add them in the middle of like running around doing quests. If you've got an inventory full of quest items, I didn't want people to like get messed up with all the effects from drinking all those drinks. So you could tie it in while you were doing it if you wanted to. I think most of the places that we visit for these quests, you'll be near one of the bars that you need to do for the bar crawl quest. But I think personally, I'm going to go through all the quests and then just go do the bar crawl afterwards and then do Scorpion Catcher. Another one of the quests that I've left out is Underground Pass. This is simply because in order to do Underground Pass, I would recommend getting your agility up quite high first. Otherwise, it's not going to be very much fun. You'll be failing all sorts of obstacles. So you could tie that in during the quest guide if you wanted to, but I'm going to wait until afterwards and then actually train my agility to do that. I've also left out Hero's Quest because it might be a little bit difficult to try and find a partner to do it with, and I didn't want people to sort of get stuck halfway through the guide waiting to find a partner. I just want everyone to sort of just be able to follow this in their own time, so I'm going to do probably Hero's Quest at the end of all of these. And I've also left out Legends Quest because we don't know if it's actually going to be in the game on release of members, and it's also going to be the quest with the highest level requirements. It's going to be quite a challenging quest, I think, so probably best to do that after all of the other quests there. Hi guys, it's Editing Garlic here. I'm just in the middle of editing this guide, and I realised that I did mess up when I was actually planning the guide, which is why you might also notice that Family Crest is missing from this. Originally, I thought that you could go and speak to the brothers in any order you want, so I had actually tied that quest in to go to the Jolly Boar Inn first, and then go to Alcarid, and then go to Catherby, but it turns out you actually need to speak to the guy in Catherby, and he'll tell you to go and speak to the other 2 brothers, so that's why it's not been included. I'm sorry about that. I don't want to go and redo the whole guide now. I spent a long time editing this, but yeah, Family Crest is another quest that you will need to just go and do at the end of this guide, or you can just go sort of slot it in anywhere in the guide that you fancy if you really do want those gauntlets as a reward. You might also notice I don't necessarily say out loud when you should turn in the Dwarf Cannon quest. That's because I didn't read the quest properly and I thought that you turned it in at the Dwarven Mines. It turns out you have to go back to Captain Lorgoth instead. So I have just put that in the text. When we go to start Waterfall Quest, on the way to Waterfall Quest, you can hand it in then, but I didn't actually say that in the video. I've just put a note, so this is me telling you out loud. That is where you turn in the Dwarf Cannon quest. Other than that, guys, back to the video. But yeah, I think that is gonna about wrap it up for this guide. This video is going to be dragging on for quite a while, so I'm not going to include any progress clips in this. If you have any changes that you would make, let me know in the comments. If you think I've made any mistakes or missed anything out, that's entirely possible, so please do let me know so we can correct the guide in time for members release. I'm also going to put a link in the description to all of this sort of typed up in a Google Doc, just in case, you know, it's going to be easier to have that up on your second monitor and read through it as you're playing rather than trying to sort of pause and play this video constantly. So there should be a link to that in the description as well if you want to read up on that. And like I said, I will try and put a list of all of the item requirements in the description as well for you, for your viewing pleasure. But other than that, guys, I hope this guide is somewhat helpful to you. If it is on members release and you use it to get through all the quests, come and let me know. Let me know if you've ran into any issues there. But other than that, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching these videos. We have sort of, the channel has started popping off recently. We kind of just missed breaking 100 subscribers because it happened so quick, and we're nearly up to 150 subscribers now. So thank you so much for the support. If you are enjoying the videos, please do subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. I do try and read every single comment. But other than that, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.